Hello and welcome to Aquarium Station on the Blue Line, or should I say Long Wharf Station, because today we are not talking about the subway. Instead, let's take a look at the underappreciated ferries of the MBTA. Boston is very much a city defined by its waterways, with the part of downtown I'm in right now being dotted by wharfs and piers, remnants of the city's industrial past. Boston has one main ferry terminal, if you could call it that, albeit one that is split between two individual wharves or boarding areas. Long Wharf North serves the Hingham and Hull ferry services, while Long Wharf South serves the Charlestown Ferry, which is the one we'll be riding today. North and South. Where have I seen that before? That bit of operational inconsistency aside, the location of this terminal right in the heart of downtown makes it super convenient for commuters in seaside communities who may otherwise have to take a roundabout route to get into downtown. Long Wharf is also right next to Aquarium Blue Line Station, so that can also speed up journeys into downtown. There are two serious commuter routes that the MBTA ferry service runs: the Hingham Hull Ferry and the Charlestown Ferry. As I mentioned, the Charlestown Ferry departs from Long Wharf South, right next to the aquarium, which conveniently lends its name to aquarium. The platform itself, or Gate 1, is fairly bare bones, featuring all the essentials but not much more. The signage is quite limited, and the pier is made of wood, something you certainly won't see on the subway network, although you can occasionally see a wooden platform on the commuter rail, especially on the Fitchburg line. But back to the ferry. Sorry, wooden platform enthusiasts, that's all for today. Thanks for stopping by. But in truth, the lack of platform facilities at the boarding area is not of concern, because the surrounding area is full of ample bench seating, kiosks for a various variety of vendors, and even a bathroom, which is more than can be said for most train stations, and most of the MBTA bathrooms are to be avoided like the plague anyway. There's also this bus stop, but I don't think there are any route buses that use it. If you're looking for one of those, the number 4 stops just around the corner. That said, it's time to actually go for a ride on the ferry. The boat running the route is nothing special from a passenger's point of view, although it does look kind of goofy. Because unlike the Hingham Hull route, which travels over 7 miles on what can be relatively unforgiving waters, thus getting a more heavy-duty boat like one of these fellas, our journey is little more than a mile long. Once on board, you have the choice of either indoor or outdoor seating. The indoor seating is actually quite comfortable, especially for this short 10-minute journey between Long Wharf and the Charlestown Navy Yard. But the real advantage of the ferry service is this balcony, and you truly can't argue with this incredible view of downtown Boston and the North End. The trip up to Charlestown is barely 10 minutes long, running on a 30-minute frequency. Not great, but better than a typical commuter rail schedule. If this were, say, every 10 or 15 minutes, it could be an incredibly useful service, even more so than it already is. Because take a look at the map of the MBTA. This very faint line is the Charlestown Ferry, but more importantly, you won't see a Charlestown MBTA subway stop. In the past, there used to be an elevated line through here, but once that closed down, this historic part of Boston lost its MBTA connection. The neighborhood is blocked by highways to the south, east, and west, and water to the north. This ferry is convenient because it serves places that railways can't feasibly serve. Anyways, I only have 5 minutes here in Charlestown at the Navy Yard ferry terminal, a super interesting old shipyard for, you guessed it, the Navy. And a constant reminder of this towers of the dry docks, being the USS Cass and Young. There's so much history in this area, and it's definitely worth a visit. There are also these old crane tracks, so I guess look out for a future episode of Boston's Lost Railways focusing on the crane path in the Charlestown Navy Yard. Navy Yard Pier is even more bare bones than the one at Long Wharf, but there is this handy timetable board. Or you can go to this one online. While on the topic, let's talk about timetabling. Boats start running at 6:30 a.m. from Long Wharf in Boston and run on a 15-minute frequency. From then, all the way up to 9 a.m. After that, it's a simple half-hourly frequency until 3:30 p.m., when it returns to a 15-minute frequency, which is maintained until 6:30, when it reverts back to a half-hourly frequency until the end of service at 8 p.m. The timetable of this service reflects the fact that it is a commuter service, a serious public transport route, rather than some touristy nonsense. But I can't help but think it would be nice if that 15-minute frequency were maintained throughout the day. I also want to address the accessibility of the Charlestown Ferry. And despite the boat bobbing and drifting, the accessibility is pretty good. All ferry piers have ramps, one steep and another with a slightly less extreme incline if you need it. There are also bridge plate-esque things which span the gap between the pier and the doorway. Now it's time to talk about ticketing. Unlike the subways and the buses, but like the commuter rail, you cannot pay with a Charlie card. Instead, it's a flat fare where you get one of these little paper slips. All in all, though, the Charlestown Ferry is a robust service, and I can't help but think that this is a very strong parallel to some of Sydney's inner harbor ferries, making short trips from downtown to small wharves in the inner suburbs. Perhaps the Charlestown Ferry could become an example for other potential ferry services in Greater Boston. These routes could see the Logan Airport or Lewis Mall routes becoming year-round services. And you could even introduce new routes to East Boston, Everett, Chelsea, Revere, or even South Boston if you wanted to. And though there hasn't been much talk of expanding Boston's ferry network, the potential is enormous. If ferries are rationalized and systematized with better branding, the MBTA already has fantastic branding, and better signage could help a lot. But this is a video for a future time. I've wanted to cover the ferry system for a while. Maybe I could put together a Future of the Ferries video sometime soon. Let me know down in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing that as a potential topic. And I hope you enjoyed this video, not about Boston's railways, but about the original transit system in Boston. For now, back to the train station. Huge thanks for supporting this channel. If you feel like dropping a like or perhaps even subscribing, I would be eternally grateful. So as always, I'll see you around.